Stephanie reached out months ago about who wants to speak. I was like, oh, me, why not? And then as I got closer, I was like, oh, me. Because there's such an amazing group of empowering women here. Going to a few different meetings and meeting the women, it's just so much empowerment in those rooms. It's like it's bursting at the seams. And so I thought, well, that's perfect, because that's what I do, is I try to empower women and educate women, you know, and give them tips and safety tips, how to watch themselves, how to be careful with, you know, everyday life. So a little bit about myself and what got me into this. I've been in direct sales for 2 decades. I pretty much started when I was 21 into direct sales, and Pampered Chef was my first, let's go do this. And I was living in England at the time. So I was the first Pampered Chef consultant in England, and I did that for about 12 years, and it was great. And, you know, then you have kids. I have 4 kids, and one's going to be 21. The baby's 21 in August. And then it's 23, and she just graduated nursing school. Then the other one is 26. And he's, right now, he's a crew chief in the Air Force. And then my oldest is going to be 30 this year. And she was also military as well, and she's going to school for interior design. And then I have a nephew who's 17. So I have kids everywhere, every age, every demographic. And what happened with me was doing home-based business as a mom and trying to, you know, still be home and take care of them, but have a little bit of myself. And then as I got older, I realized that I just need to focus and get rid of home-based businesses, and it's not what I wanted to do. I owned a Curbs a few years back in Idaho, and that was a really interesting thing because it was all about empowering women. And I think that was my biggest understanding of switching from children as a youth pastor to empowering women and motivating women. So that led on to, out of nowhere, last year, I walked into an event for scrapbooking because I have all those pictures of my kids, and I saw a table for damsel in defense. And right around that time, my dear friend from high school, who I reconnected with, is doing A21. And the two really combined together, and it started me, it started me thinking of all those past issues that you kind of put in the back of your mind and don't realize that I escaped that lucky. You know, I wasn't hurt. I escaped that. You know, the hand of God was on me and protecting me. And it just kind of opened a door to, this is something I needed to do, which was empowering. I'm not going to give you statistics today just because everyone can look those up. If you look at the RAINN website, RAINN, you'll see, you know, like 1 in 4 and kids and all the statistics on abuse and sexual assaults and domestic violence, and realizing that this particular company, Damsel, has my family's statistics. You know, I don't want another mother to get the phone call from their child. I don't want the school to call me and say something happened. I don't want my children to have to experience anything else again. So putting that together with the mission of just protecting and educating and spreading the word. So today I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about more like safety tips and I'm not trying to be the businessy, you know, we're all here on business, but it was really great to know that the safety tips I'm giving you, that Damsel actually has products to go with that. And I know there's other products on the market, and it's not so much for me about Damsel, it's just get protected. You know, get protected. So I just wanted to encourage everybody who's going to be watching this, and you ladies, that unfortunately, we have a target on our head to be vulnerable, whether it's shopping, running, walking, in our own home if we live alone, late night leaving work, we have a target on us. And my job is to help you not be a target. So I took some notes, so excuse me if I'm up and down here. I was having computer problems earlier, so I didn't get to print them out. But it's risk aversion. Okay, it's aversion, risk aversion, not risk elimination. Things are going to happen that are unavoidable and we can't 100%, be free from. So the idea of awareness, situational awareness is key. So some of the tips I have for you is just, if you have a more prepared mind, then the things you like to do outside or even in your home or in your backyard, you are going to feel safer. You're going to feel more confident. And that's important because if we have confidence, head goes up, we have a different type of walk, and we can present ourselves as a not an easy target. So there's a 7-second rule. You know how in driving, we're supposed to be looking in every mirror. The same thing when you're out on your own. Every 7 seconds, just put your head on a swivel, look around, use what you have around you, use the shadows on the street when you're walking, see if there's a shadow coming up. Look in the mirrors or the windows that are reflective when you're walking down the street. We know we can't go in businesses anymore, but we still like to walk. So, see if there's somebody walking behind you. Look at the cars. When they're parked, look and see what the reflection is, who's behind you, those sort of things. I challenge you to, when you're even walking with a child, which I'm all about protecting children too, and if you guys are walking and you see someone passed, take note and then ask your child a few seconds later, hey, who just passed us? And they can't look. And do like little fun games with them. And what it's doing is subconsciously, it's teaching them to have situational awareness and look what's around you. And the more you're practicing and looking at that sticks in your head too. So it's a win-win for you as a mother, and it's a win-win for them for the future. So if something has happened, they're like, oh yeah, this person was wearing this. This is what they were doing. And it's a not thought about thing because they've been playing this game all along, and you're making it fun and you're educating them that way. So there's a 7-second rule. Again, keep looking around. Now with the COVID happening, everybody's been out and there's so many people on trails and walking and hiking and bike riding. We're trying to get our exercise on. So a tip about that, sorry, sometimes I tend to talk really fast because I get excited and then okay, let me calm down. Slow the roll. If you are out, and it doesn't matter what time of day, but if you're out on a trail for 5 minutes, you don't see somebody, that's a sign. Why, especially in today's age, we're, like I said, we're all out exercising. If you're not passing anybody, if you don't see anybody for 5 minutes, I wouldn't use that trail again. Because the chances are people know that, and then they're a great place for people to hide behind trees and bushes. Turn around and go back. This doesn't, just start being aware of that. Like, wait, I haven't seen anybody for a while. This might not be the safest place for me to be. Turn around and go back. Think of a different way. When you are out where did I go? Sorry. So when you are out walking and you have your protection, me personally, I carry stun guns and pepper sprays. So you have everything. You have animals, you have, tricky people who want to pull over on the side of the road and ask you for help. And of course, we want to be helpful. We don't want to have to live in fear, but we have to know that we're empowered. We have to know that, okay, we're in the daytime, there's people passing us, the chances of something happening to us, aren't as high as if it was the evening or early morning when we're out on the trails or something like that. But if we have a little bit of protection, we're not showing ourselves vulnerable. The problem with people coming and looking at who's an easy target is I hate to say it, but this is their job. Just like we have people who take care of people, we have people who want to hurt people. So when that happens, that's their job. They're looking, are you on your cell phone? Do you have small children? Are your hands full from the grocery store? Do you have any type of weapon you can use? No? Cool. Bonus. One of the biggest things people do is I have a cell phone and, if I'm walking, I'm talking on it, it's okay. This person on the cell phone can't do anything for you. If you have your music in your ears and when you're plugged in, you are not using all your senses. And when we do that, we have a higher risk of not even visually seeing what's going on around us. And it's weird because we're plugged in this way, but our eyes aren't focusing on where we need to be. And I know for me, when I was a runner, I always had running with earbuds in. And I swore I couldn't run without them. It was just made, my favorite songs. When that song's over, I know I have one more mile to go. But I had to just baby steps, retrain. I took one earbud out just so I could have a better situational awareness. And then it came to, okay, I don't have to have anything on when I walk. I don't have my phone on me. I don't have anything because I'm taking in the beauty of the land. And by that, I'm being, it's self-centering me into where I'm at and what I'm doing, but it's also protecting me. And it's such an easy way to protect yourself when you're looking around. Again, you're looking, what's behind you. It's so easy for someone just to come up on you so quick and you don't realize it. And if we put ourselves in that vulnerable situation, then what are we going to do? Yell, scream, kick. At my Empower Hours, I a little bit vocal there, and I make everyone scream their head off. It's okay to yell. And sometimes we're like, I don't want to be too loud. I don't want to cause a distraction. What happens if this is just a nice person? Am I overreacting? As women, we tend to self-doubt ourselves. We doubt the situation because, unfortunately, growing up, it was always, oh, be polite, be sweet. And we take that, we raise our children, oh, say hi to that person. I might know my friend. My child doesn't know my friend, but yet I'm encouraging my child to speak to a stranger. We're just taught to be nice, be polite. So normally what I do is like, oh, it's okay. They don't need to say hi to me. It's okay. And giving them some value and letting them know that their voice can be heard as a child too. So kind of sidetracked there. I'm not have all my notes. I'm just going along. So when you're walking, make sure you have protection. Make sure make sure if that feeling that you have in your chest, something just doesn't feel right, use your big voice. It's okay. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to scare them, right? You're going to scare them. And that's okay. It's like, sorry about that, but you are empowering yourself to use your feelings, how you feel. You're empowering yourself to use your voice. If you have to carry a pepper spray, which is recommended anyway, when you're looking at dogs and wild animals, when you're out on trails and walking, it's beneficial to have something regardless. Hopefully we never have to use that, but it's always good to have that. So the next thing is when you move. That's another thing. Women in houses, when we move, especially if you're a single lady, make sure you have some sort of security. Make sure that every entrance that you have to your house, your windows, your doors, even if you're in your backyard, you want a clear exit out of your home. Heaven forbid something happen, someone come into your house or break into your house. You need to know that if you run out the back door, you're not going to trip over the garbage can, the kid's bike, the soccer ball. That's in any situation. I know I said kid's bike, but we're living alone, so your bike. Make sure you always have a clear path out of your house. And if it's a window, if you happen to live on the second floor, if you're in an apartment, make sure you have a secondary way to get out. It's super important, and it might seem ridiculous, but again, no one plans on being a statistic. The majority of crimes are based on people who we know. The majority of self-harm is based on our acquaintances or even family members. So I want to share with you that when somebody is in your home, you know your home better than anybody. So if someone breaks into your home, you don't know this person, you are now not going to have to be the target. They're going to be the target. Set yourself up so every room in your house has something to protect yourself in. We always see in the movies, I'm going to run to the kitchen, I'm going to get this huge butcher knife. Okay, well, in the midst of chaos, that knife might be used against you, or we lock ourselves in a room that doesn't have anything. I can lock myself in my bedroom, but I can only throw so many shoes at you. It's not going to be a deterrent. So set your house up when you go home tonight. Look at your house. Look at every room you are. Look at the room that you're in most. If you're sitting in your living room, This is what I do when I come home. I sit down, I do this. What do you have around you in arm's reach that you could use? And it doesn't have to be anything big. It doesn't have to be, the weapon of a gun or a knife or anything like that, because the majority of us have kids or animals, and we don't want our animals to knock things off. But start thinking about that. Place something maybe even under the couch that you can reach and grab. You be the predator in your home. You set that situation up that you're in charge, not anybody else. So I think that is really important when it comes to your house, just staging your house for protection. The other thing is, if you're new to an area, go to your local police department and say, hey, what are safe trails? Where's a place? I'm a single woman, or I'm a woman with small children, or I'm a woman with kids who have disabilities. Where is a safe place? And they should be able to tell you. Get to know your neighbors. You want to know who can be there for you in case something happens. Another thing is, when you have your friends over, if you're by yourself, invite your friends over. You are now going to be the party queen, because it's going to look like your house is busy. It's going to you're not going to be set as a target, because that person who could be stalking doesn't know when somebody's coming over. So super easy things as far as your household goes. Again, keep your lights on. Every scary movie has dark rooms. Every light is out in a scary movie. I don't know why. And calling out, hello, are they going to respond back? If you already have that feeling, leave your house, get in your car, lock the car, and maybe call someone to come over. If it's a situation where there has been abuse in that situation, call the police, have them come over. That's their job, to come and walk you into your home. You don't ever want to put yourself in a situation where you feel endangered. And we have to trust that gut. Our gut instinct is what keeps us alive. Our gut instinct is what we tell our children. Our animals know that gut instinct. If they sense something bad about somebody, they start barking or they act weird. We have that too. We just, again, normally choose to ignore it. So I challenge you guys to just be aware. A personal example is, my daughter was just flying home the other day, and she was planning on just taking an Uber. And I've talked to her. She has protection products, and her fiance is working, so her fiance wasn't able to pick her up. So she knew that she was just going to take an Uber. And instead, she got to the airport and was like, I just don't feel right. And I am so proud of her, because she's one of my statistics, and she's learned to trust that gut. And so she got on the phone. She's like, okay, I need someone to pick me up, who can. Her friend drove 40 minutes to come and pick her up from the airport to take her home. That's what we need to do. And we shouldn't feel guilty about, oh, you have to come 40 minutes, you have to do this. No, you're worth it. And I think that's the thing with women. We have to validate ourselves, because sometimes we're the only ones who can. We have to empower ourselves, because we're the only ones that can. I'm worth it. And that means my friend loves me. And that's okay. They can even spend the night, whatever it is. And, I reached out to her. She's like, because of you, Mom. And that was the best thing that she heard. And I was able, because of everything that's happened, and because of, 𝐸𝓂𝓅𝑜𝓌𝑒𝓇 and Damsel, and being able to understand what it truly means, that I am valuable, and I hear what you're saying. I need to protect myself. And she did. And that was just amazing. So I wanted to share that little story with you. A car. Okay, well, we all go shopping. Nowadays, it seems like everybody's shopping more because there's nothing to do. So all we do is eat. And I know I go to the grocery store probably 4 or 5 times a week now, where before it used to be once a week. Go to Costco and then a little trip. But now it's like you're constantly at the store. There's constantly the parking lot. And that's another thing where we feel safe, because, oh, everybody's here. But should you rely on anybody else to save you? We want to. But there are those times where we have to be our biggest advocate. We have to be our biggest supporter. So in order, like I said, with your house, to have your house positioned to where you have something in every room, your car should be the same way. especially if you have small children, especially if you have children with disabilities where you're focused on getting them into the car, out of their wheelchair. You know, your hands are full of groceries. You don't have any way to protect yourself. I was at an event one time and I had this little lady and she was a doll. She was early 70s and she was going to the car and she's up in Roseville area. She's up in Roseville area and she lives in a senior community, and she went out to go to the grocery store and her hands are full. And there was a gentleman and he's like, "Oh ma'am, can I help you? Do you need help?" You know, unfortunately, in today's society, people really aren't reaching out to help us like that. So that's kind of like, I need to be aware. I need to focus on this. But because she was older, it was like she engaged in the conversation because, you know, that's what you do. Women are supposed to be polite. Women are supposed to, you know, be nice to everybody. And she's like, "No, thank you." So they had this little dialogue. Next thing she knows, he had reached over and grabbed her arm. She's early 70s. She freaked out. And then he started complimenting her skin on how soft she was. So the whole situation just escalated so quickly. And she shared, she's like, "And I don't even know where, but out of nowhere, I had 2 firefighters reach up and pick him up on each side and move him away from me." You know, so even the shopping in the daytime, that's just their job. Again, it's their job to come and rob from us or hurt us or anything like that. And we have to be that person who protects ourselves. So with that being said, always being aware, don't go to your car with, "Oh, what key am I going to use?" You know, already have your key ready. And a lot of times in these cases today, you know, a lot of our cars are, they have the automatic. So as soon as you get close, you can just touch it and your door opens up. Always, 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 a lot of times we have the alarm. If it's at night or if you have to park far, just set the alarm off. Set the alarm off, because before I was even in Damsel, I would do that because I don't know who's hiding under my car. I don't know who's out, you know, and as I was walk up to my car, I was kind of look around before I got up to it, but then I would do the alarm so it would scare somebody. That was my thinking. Now with like my stun gun, it has an amazing flashlight. I'm not saying you have to go carry this huge flashlight with you every time you walk, but anything you can do to make yourself less vulnerable. You want to take that little target off your forehead. You want to say, "I know what I'm doing. I have a light. I have a key. I have, you know, I'm ready to go. I'm just going to get in my car." As soon as you get in your car, well, first let's step back, look at your windows, take a good look around it. Don't park next to trash cans. Don't park next to walls. Don't park next to dumpsters. When you park, if you can back into a situation, back in. If you have to be that person that pulls through to the next thing, do it. So you have an easy way to get out of that situation. If you have to get in your car and somebody's in your car or manhandles you and forces their way into your car, never drive away. You know, the statistics are a lot higher. If you drive away, the chances of you not being hurt are very slim. We never want to leave the spot. Again, so when you're in a car, the best thing to do is ram your car, cause a commotion, cause a scene. That's why we have insurance, right? We have insurance. Okay, well, I had to collide with your car, so I wouldn't be abducted. And those are perfectly reasonable things. But the process of what would I do? We have to talk ourselves every day, every time we leave. What would I do if this happened to me? It's muscle memory, and we fail to remember that our brain is our muscle and we have to train it in every situation. What would we do? So I'm currently at my office here in West Sac, and I had to switch my whole office around because my door's over there, my back was over here. And every time someone comes in, I had to turn around. Hence why I always have weapons and pepper spray right here, right next to me thing. And I'm constantly have stuff. But our back needs to be against the wall. Just like if we are, so we can look at all the exits, we have to be aware of our situation. Just like if we're in a car, if we're parked back, we can go right away. We can go. We also open up the door So there's a wall between the person and us if they come to approach us. If they try to push, we get in our car, lock the door. Always lock your door as soon as you get in. So those are just some tips on driving. Keep some sort of protection device over your head in your sun visor, or when you put your groceries in the back of your car, have something sitting right there. It's okay to drop our groceries. It's okay. Don't drop the baby, but it's okay to drop the groceries. But if we are having the baby, what can we do? An example with, like, I have a friend who has a child with disabilities. So she has protection products within the wheelchair, because now you're focusing on that. The diaper bag, you're always carrying a diaper bag or your purse. There always needs to be something, because when you're not looking and you're a young mama or you have a grandmama and you're holding those babies, you are now have no way, because I know you're not going to drop the kid. So what else can you have? Walk yourself through these safety tips. Walk yourself, what would I do? What happens if? Another thing is when you're by yourself and you're traveling, have some sort of GPS locator on. I know I'm doing product drops, but Damsel has a pepper spray that has a USB Bluetooth. Yeah, deploy it. It sends, you're spraying your person who's coming at you, but you're also deploying a GPS to people so they know exactly your location. There's apps on your phone for GPS. Have a location. Tell somebody where you're going. Check in with somebody. Hey, I'm halfway. I'm stopping at a rest stop before I go any further. I'm, down in some other city that's hours away, but hey, I'm pulling over now. I'm going to stop at this rest stop. I'll call you when I get back into my car after I use the restroom. Simple little things that take no time at all. Have those people in your life aware that I'm going to call you when I'm doing this. Hey, do you want to go shopping with me? I know it's late. Whatever. Don't put yourself in a position. And unfortunately, with today, we kind of think that everything's okay. And now, especially with the COVID going on, everyone's wearing masks everywhere. And to me, that makes me worried more than anything, is because you don't know. It says the eyes are the windows to the soul, but somebody can have the most caring eyes, and you marry them and then they're horrible monsters, right? I mean, so no, it's the whole face. It's the stance of somebody coming up to you. You're wearing glasses, you're wearing a mask, some people are wearing a hat. There's no way. So that kind of goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. Look at the build of the person. Try to get the color of the hair. What are they wearing? Make people that you pass a game, like the Where's Waldo was like, what was this person wearing? So when you can look back, you even know who you were looking at. It's all about being aware and having situational awareness, where you park, how you take care of yourself in your home. If you're home alone, lock your doors, lock your windows. The biggest thing for realtors is, you go in and you're checking everything. My sister-in-law is also a realtor, and she had an open house, and there was a gentleman, and of course she's carrying her protection products, and she has it right there. And as a realtor, you need to be where you can get out all the time. But the gentleman was in the back of the house a little bit too long. So after he left and everything, she was conscious of this, went back. Every single window in that house was open, but by the naked eye, you couldn't see it. So again, if you, like I just kind of said before, have people in your house, be that person, but know that if other people come to your home that you don't know, if you have a get together, go around, check your windows, check your sliding glass doors, check those things, because you don't want to be in a vulnerable situation. And one of the last things I wanted to say was, was watching your posts on social media, finishing with that one, just because everything is on social media. So I used to be that person. I'm flying down to San Diego. I'm going to go see my daughter. I'm flying to Massachusetts. We're going to the beach, leaving my home completely exposed, knowing that I'm going to be coming home from somewhere. I set myself up to be a target. And what I realize now is I still take all the pictures. I do that. But I don't post any of my pictures until after I get back home. And then my verbiage is different. I had a good time. I enjoyed this. The beach was gorgeous. Whatever it is, but then the verbiage changes and how we word things. We're not setting ourselves up to look like we are home alone or our house is going to be alone. And just because we're gone and someone wants to break into our house, we won't know. Doesn't mean everybody's coming there to steal stuff. But what that means is maybe they are looking at your house. Maybe they know your windows. So like I said, when you come back, even if you're on vacation, everything still looks great, recheck everything. Recheck. This is your home. This is your sanctuary. This is the place where you should be at peace. When you're on your run, that is your peace time. When you're hanging out with your kids at a park, that is your peaceful time. So the more that we can do to be aware and protect ourselves, we're going to enjoy those moments of life better. So that's about all I had for now. I really don't know how much time I had because I could go on forever, but I think that was a lot of safety tips that, I don't want to inundate everybody with them.
No, I appreciate that, Lisa. And I wrote a few things down. A couple of the key things that you spoke about just looking around every 7 seconds, being mindful of that. And then also something I don't really think about is, if I'm out on a trail or on a bike ride or something, the 5-minute rule. But I honestly start getting creeped out at like probably around 3 minutes. Like if I know people, aren't around, I'm thinking, am I alone? What's out here? What's lurking in the bushes? Or, you know what I mean? When I was, a young girl, we had lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and my bedroom was, we were in a beautiful neighborhood, safe neighborhood, like you would think it was safe.
Yeah.
And my bedroom went up next to the side of the house. And at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, some guy had kidnapped somebody from somewhere and literally brought this female child back behind where we were he was running from the cops and right at my window and trying to get in my window when I was a child. And so you just never, like completely unexpected, you just never know what's going to happen. So I really appreciate the tips that you've given. I think it was really, absolutely valuable information. So thank you so much for sharing that, with us. And hopefully, I think that this is definitely a topic that I would like to see on a larger scale with more women, maybe in person. We can circle back around with you when, things start to open up and relax a little bit more. Cause I really find it, it's your resource and a wealth of information when it comes to the safety and, aspect of lives. And I think it's important, and that's who we are as a networking group, is to keep each other safe and empowered to do so. Yeah. So thank you from my standpoint. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Piggybacking a little bit on what you said, have an alarm